Haunted Mouths dropped their new album, A Collection of Greetings. This is the new project, Kellen Quinn's new solo project, but I hesitate to call it a solo project because he is very open about the collaborator and producer on this album, Aaron Marsh from Copeland, playing a massive part, and even shooting some press photos and including him in the most recent visualizer.
That's so dope.
So yes, technically, like it's I guess another Kellen Quinn solo project. I did want to make a special shout out about Aaron because I was watching the Rock Sound interview Kellen did, and he was talking about that very thing, about how like, yes, I'm like including him in the materials because he played such an integral part in the creation of the album.
That's great. Yeah.
One thing Kellen Quinn will always do is never do the same thing that he does in Sleeping with Sirens with his solo music.
No,
not even close.
It's always guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
It's always.
I love the versatility of what Kellen does. Obviously, massive fan of Sleeping with Sirens. They do the post-hardcore sound so fucking great. I am beyond excited to see them with Pierce the Veil in May. I keep forgetting they're opening that tour.
Oh my god, I forgot that was a tour. Yeah.
Then there was Downer Inc., which you and I were both not massive fans of, have not revisited since, but it was definitely a totally different thing, and I think that was part of it. We knew Kellen Quinn to basically do one thing, and then he went ahead and did something totally different, and we didn't like it. So and obviously all of his features will range from anything of like a pop track to a pop punk track to something heavier. It is just across the board. There's a bajillion Kellen Quinn features out there, and he smashes all of them, and they're always a different sound. So super versatile. So going into this, only having heard Further Till We Disappear, clocked the vibe for the album pretty quick,
almost immediately. I was like, this is what you do. Okay, cool.
The single wasn't hiding anything about this album. It's definitely like it's an indie vibe.
It's an indie vibe.
It's an indie vibe. But I think that it's really solid. I think that Kellen's vocals in this kind of genre of music really get to explode in a sense. They're really there in the forefront. I think that his singing voice is fantastic. As much as I love when he's screaming his head off and Sleeping with Sirens, I think that his singing voice is awesome, and it really gets to shine, not explode. Shine in this record. One thing that I did kind of come away with from the album is a lot of it kind of felt like it stayed flat for most of the album, with minor variations, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but it's also that kind of vibe where like I kind of just turned the record on, and I understand it's like a love album about his wife, but what I did today is I turned it on and disassociated from everything going on in my brain for 35 minutes, and this was a fantastic album for it. I went and drove and grabbed dinner, and I was paying attention to the road, but I totally just disassociated to this record and turned my brain off. So I think that it's solid. I think it really accomplishes the goal and what they were setting out to do. That's solely personal preference. The point I made. I like a couple of songs towards the end because they start to explore with different soundscapes as well. Different instruments come up in Meanwhile and Becoming Nameless. But I also think that overall, all things considered, this is a really solid new venture for Kellen, because I genuinely didn't know how I was going to come away with this, going based off of the last solo project. Wasn't a fan, so I came away really enjoying this. As I said, Meanwhile and Becoming Nameless, some of my favorites, but I also did really enjoy Further Till We Disappear, not to be cheap and pick the single.
I think this record is great. I don't think, you already kind of took it where it's just Kellen Quinn's never going to do the same thing twice. It's always going to be something new. It's always going to be something out of left field where you go, this is Kellen Quinn's project? So I can't blame him though, because if I had those vocals, fuck, I'd be trying everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's so versatile and it's so effortlessly pretty where it's just like, man, sometimes you don't have to scream your head off. Sometimes you don't need a super crazy instrumental, super crazy instruments. His voice is the instrument on
Mhm.
this record. It's very stripped back. It's very almost melancholic. Even though it is about his wife and it's a cutesy little record, the vibes are a little down.
Mhm.
But that's honestly just because of the genre they picked, indie. It has some country vibes, it has some folk vibes, but I mean, it's all kind of that on the more relaxed end of each of those spectrums because I know country they can get a little rowdy over there. So I'm not gonna say fucking country and you expect fucking banjos and all that shit. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no. There's a little twang in there in a couple of these songs, but it's never to that extent. Uh, I think it's a great record. It's not necessarily a genre that I gravitate to as much anymore. Typically, in like 2019, 2018, 2019, this is the type of music that I would be listening to. But ever since kind of the gateway of metalcore has been open to me, my brain and my heart have craved for fast-paced music.
My bad.
Yeah, thanks, man. But I can still appreciate this record and still say, this is really fucking good. As I said, his vocals are an instrument on this record. I feel like because of how um, minimal the instrumental is and how simple the not production, but simple just the songs in general are. I mean, there aren't a lot of like crazy harmonies or anything that makes you go like, whoa, what
Mhm.
the fuck? It's a nice record, plain and simple. It's something that you put on to, as you said, kind of just like get lost in it, or something to just kind of like unwind to. Um, and I think that's fucking great. I think it's awesome. I enjoyed this a lot more than I did Downer Inc. I enjoyed this thoroughly. I thought this was a great record.
Hell yeah. Happy to hear it.